The 1990s were a golden era for NFL quarterbacks, filled with legends who redefined the game and gave us unforgettable moments. But who were the best of the best? Today, we're counting down the top 5 quarterbacks of the 90s, highlighting their dominance and what made them icons of the decade. Who made the cut and who came out on top? Let's find out. Before we dive into the top 5, let's give some love to a few legends who didn't quite crack the list, but absolutely deserve recognition. First up, Dan Marino. Marino peaked in the 80s, but in the 90s he was still slinging it, putting up big numbers despite a Miami Dolphins team that couldn't quite figure out you needed more than a quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Next up, Warren Moon. He was a statistical beast in the early 90s with the Oilers, proving that age is just a number as he continued to light up defenses well into his late 30s. And finally, Randall Cunningham, the ultimate dual-threat quarterback. Cunningham's late career resurgence with the Vikings in 1998 was one of the most electrifying seasons we've ever seen. All three were phenomenal, but for now, let's move on to the best of the best. At number 5, we've got Troy Aikman, the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys dynasty. Aikman wasn't flashy, and you wouldn't find him throwing for 5,000 yards, but what he lacked in gaudy stats, he made up for in precision and leadership. With pinpoint accuracy and a knack for rising to the occasion, Aikman led the Cowboys to 3 Super Bowl victories in the 90s. That kind of clutch play is what separates good quarterbacks from great ones. In the 90s, Aikman threw for over 20,000 yards and made 6 Pro Bowls. But the stat that really matters? Those Lombardi trophies. He was a quarterback who thrived under pressure, delivering when games mattered most. And let's not forget his partnership with Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin, forming one of the most dangerous offensive trios in NFL history. Together, they dominated the league. Troy Aikman wasn't the flashiest quarterback, but his consistency and ability to deliver in the biggest moments made him a perfect fit to start the list.
I've never seen a more accurate quarterback.
He's the most accurate thrower I think has ever played the position.
At number 4 is Jim Kelly, the face of the Buffalo Bills' historic run in the early 90s. Kelly's claim to fame? 4 straight Super Bowl appearances. Kelly's claim to infamy? 4 straight Super Bowl losses. While Kelly never secured a Super Bowl title, getting to the game 4 consecutive times is a feat no other quarterback has ever achieved. Kelly was the driving force behind the Bills' K-gun offense. Known for his quick reads and rapid-fire passing, Kelly orchestrated one of the most efficient offenses of the decade. During the 90s, Kelly threw for nearly 25,000 yards and 167 touchdowns. But stats aside, it was his toughness and leadership that defined his legacy. He played through injuries, adversity, and the bitter cold of Buffalo winters, earning the respect of teammates and opponents alike. Kelly's Super Bowl record might not sparkle, but his impact on the 90s NFL is undeniable. His ability to lead and inspire puts him firmly in the top 5.
Jim Kelly was his own offensive coordinator. Jim Kelly carried that offense and that football team in so many respects.
Coming in at number 3 is John Elway, a player who defined resilience and ended his career on the highest note possible. Elway spent much of his career carrying the Denver Broncos, but in the late 90s, the Broncos did figure out that you needed more than a quarterback to win a Super Bowl. The result? Back-to-back Super Bowl victories in 97 and 98. Known for his cannon arm and incredible mobility, Elway could do it all. He was one of the original dual-threat quarterbacks, equally capable of launching a 60-yard bomb or scrambling for a game-saving first down. Then there were the clutch moments. Elway seemed to thrive in high-pressure situations, delivering game-winning drives and unforgettable plays. His helicopter spin in Super Bowl 32 is etched in NFL lore, a moment that epitomized his competitive spirit. With over 27,000 passing yards and 144 touchdowns in the 90s, Elway cemented his place as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He was the heart and soul of the Broncos and an icon of the decade.
This one's for John.
If anything that I learned is football is a team sport, and especially when you get to the Super Bowl. One guy is not going to win a Super Bowl. The best teams win the Super Bowl, and everybody's got to be doing their job. And when you get to that Super Bowl, it's a team win, and that's exactly what that was.
At number 2 is the NFL's ultimate gunslinger, Brett Favre. Few players brought as much excitement to the game as Favre did. With a cannon arm and a fearless attitude, Favre made plays that other quarterbacks wouldn't even attempt, and it paid off. In the 90s, Favre won 3 consecutive MVP awards, a feat no other player has ever matched. Favre also led the Green Bay Packers to a Super Bowl victory in 1996, ending the franchise's long championship drought. His leadership and infectious love for the game rejuvenated football in Green Bay, turning the Packers into perennial contenders. But As much as we love Favre's style, it came with risks. His aggressive approach led to costly interceptions, especially in critical moments, a flaw that kept him from claiming the top spot. Still, with over 30,000 passing yards and 235 touchdowns in the 90s, Favre's impact on the game is undeniable. He was a force of nature, and his legacy of one of the all-time greats is secure.
That was Brett. He drove you crazy. He made great plays. There was a little luck involved. The place was wild. Nobody knew at the time that that was going to be a sign of what's to come. But that's what he's been doing for 19 years.
And finally, the number one quarterback of the 90s, Steve Young. Young was the total package, a quarterback who combined deadly accuracy, mobility, and unmatched efficiency. He didn't just play the position, he redefined it. Young's crowning moment came in Super Bowl 29, where he threw a record 6 touchdown passes, leading the 49ers to a dominant victory. That performance wasn't just historic, it was symbolic of how he stepped out of Joe Montana's shadow and became a legend in his own right. With 2 MVP awards and a passer rating that consistently led the league, Young was a model of precision. He could beat defenses with his arm or his legs, making him a nightmare for opponents. Why is he ranked over Favre? It comes down to decision making. As noted earlier, while Favre's gunslinging style was thrilling, it often led to costly mistakes in critical moments. Young, on the other hand, was the epitome of poise and efficiency. He protected the ball, made smart decisions, and delivered when it mattered most. Simply put, if it was the fourth quarter and the game was on the line and you needed a drive without costly mistakes, Steve Young was your man.
He was by far the highest rated quarterback before 2000.
I gotta go to work!
Nobody has led the league in passer rating as many times. He led it 6 times in 7 years.
From Troy Aikman's clutch play to Steve Young's brilliance, the 90s gave us some of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. But this list isn't just about numbers. It's about the impact these players had on the game and the unforgettable moments they created. Do you agree with these rankings? Or do you think someone else deserved the top spot? Let me know in the comments below. Please be sure to like and subscribe for future football content. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.